Castaneda with Mcscgreenwheels here at home. And what we've been seeing a lot online is a lot of people talking about how these notchbacks and these just the Mustang Foxbody in general is getting really expensive. I have my 5 personal reasons why I think they're getting expensive, and I guess I'll just run by them real quick for you. I guess the first one would be that if you're looking for anything as far as a notchback or a Foxbody out here in the what we call the Rust Belt, it's really hard to find a car that doesn't have that much rust, low mileage, and for a cheap price. When we started this, especially this car right here, our 93 GT, we got it for about $4,500. Make that $4,000, and it was a running car, perfectly running car, all original. They had worked the engine over, looked great. We went to see it, looked great, and when we started to strip it down, you know, we were overcome by rust. You've heard us say it before that the only things that are original to the car are really just the hatch and the 2 doors. This used to have a sunroof, and of course rust took that over. So we just decided to scratch that, and we got, I think, from Prestige Mustang, we had a whole Top Gun. You know, we got it delivered. Go on our YouTube page and check it out. You should see it there. We have that video there. And so if you start looking for them, you really have to be careful, because once we got this guy, man, we noticed just patches of rust, things that were like balls of newspaper as used as filler for the quarters. All this was gone when we decided to remove all this beautiful plastic that was here. And then more and more we dug into it, the more and more rust we found. Of course, you know, you say to yourself, oh, it's only a $4,000 car, but the biggest expense with these cars is body work. And you know, to really rely on a body guy that is out there doing the job that you look for, that you want to be done, is really hard. It's a big thing. It's a big trust issue there. We know there's a lot of weasels out there just getting by. A couple of, you know, if you looked at our channel, we have a quick rundown on our 1993 GT. I mean, our 1993 Notch, which was Calypso Green, and we kind of went over the points that you want to go and look at before you buy one of these cars as far as rust goes. You know, torque arm boxes, torque boxes, the strut towers, your front rails, those things like that, man. Especially if there's a sunroof, please just check it. Take the moment, even if it means you got to rip that liner just a little bit, man. Check it. Believe me, it'll save you a world of hurt. My second reason that I believe that these things are getting more and more expensive is that a lot of people are sitting around looking for a real 5.0 notchback and everything. I don't know if you're looking for matching numbers or nothing. It really doesn't matter. So these things come in pretty beat up. We all know these little Fox bodies, man. They're about 2,700 pounds, man. They're great to drive. Even, you just heard, with a stock V8, it's a stock 302 in there. Sounds amazing. Makes you feel good. You know, you punch it in third, that thing's flying. People beat these things up. So a lot of things that people are looking for, they want that V8 in there. Maybe they're nostalgic about the 302. Who knows? As you can tell, for us, we're not that nostalgic. We tend to swap that out. More of that later. So what we see is more of these V8s coming in. They're really beat up. Maybe a lot of miles. Maybe it doesn't match what the odometer says. So, you know, it's a lot of trickery being out there with these cars, you know, and I can understand. So we're looking for a car like what we found this guy running and everything was about $4,000 in comparison to when we found this guy. His was $10,500. And guys, again, with the whole rust thing, rust-free does not exist. Surface rust is still rust. So let's just be honest with it. You know, when we're talking about rust-free, we're talking about the gaping holes that we had like on our Sergeant Reckless here. That's what we mean by rust. Don't oh, it's we know that's rusty. We get it. You know, this car was picked out of North Carolina. You guys want to go ahead and find cars out there, fantastic. But you're not going to find them for $5,500, $6,500 in the condition like this one. This one is clean, surface rust, but overall, no humongous gaping holes, no frame rails falling apart. So it's in really good conditions, but we paid more. You know, and that didn't include us going to pick it up, renting our truck, trailer, etc., gas and whatnot. So, you know, you tally that in, you're looking at about maybe about $14,000 car, but that's what you have to pay in order to play. Third reason that I see these Fox bodies coming up more expensive is if you look, for example, in '93, Ford Motors only made about 114,000 of these cars. 65,000 of those cars were non-V8, so there was a lot of 4-cylinders running around out there. A lot of grocery getters, guys. A lot of them. Believe me, they're out there. So you don't necessarily need to go ahead and find a V8, because you could do the same thing to a 4-cylinder. Kind of like what we did. We did it to our notch, which was Calypso Green, and we picked that one up out of Texas. It was a rolling chassis, little 4-cylinder. You know what? Great conditions, no rust, surface rust, but other than that, the car was in perfect conditions. That now, when you guys see it, which we call the grunt, totally different transformation. Makes things easier. As far as body work, doesn't cost you as much. But yeah, like I was saying, yeah, about 65,000 of those were just like 4-cylinders, and only about 7,100 were notchbacks. And that's not including about 630 that were SSP, which is that police package stuff. So, you know, you were down to about 6,400 notchbacks, and again, that's still not enough for this nation. So, I mean, again, these cars are getting less and less because we're starting to find out what the value is. So, well, hopefully, if you find a good one, stick with it. You know, these little notchbacks are going to get you more pricier, as I think. My fourth reason that these Fox bodies are getting really expensive is that I think that a lot of people have these really high expectations for some of these builds. I know there's a lot of work for some. I know that there's a lot of aftermarket parts for some, but you just got to be realistic. It's still a Fox body, and there's people that just look at it like that. This isn't an Alfa Romeo. So, I mean, we have had people reach out to us and say, hey, you know, we have done this much. We have a Coyote, we have a motorsport, a maximum motorsport suspension and all this, you know, but still, you're talking to a guy that, you know, is building these cars, so I don't want to pay 30 grand, you know, for a car that I have to finish. So I'm just saying, let's just be realistic. Come on, guys, you know, and, you know, let's not cheat each other, you know. It's the truth. I do believe that there's a lot of work. We put a lot of work to this guy, but I don't plan on selling this car, or we don't even plan on getting rid of this thing. So we're gonna put what we have to put into it to make it do what it's gonna do, and, you know, bring home what it's gonna bring home. It's sorry about the, you know, it's a nice 23-degree night in Chicago. My fifth reason is really is the counted cars. If you take, for example, you have your black on black 93 notch, there's only about, as record, I think like 730 of them. So there's a lot of people holding on to those things. So if you take for what we have here to our 93 notch, which is the color scheme of white on black, we have a black interior, a very sought after interior, you know, and then you have your custom paints. You have your Calypso greens and your Coral Reef blues, you know. Counted car if it has that paint, you know what I mean? And that's another thing that I believe that rises the prices on these cars, you know. So those are my 5 reasons why I believe that these cars are getting more expensive. Why don't you go ahead and let me know if I'm wrong or if I'm right. That's always awesome. And, you know, give us your 5 reasons why you think these cars are getting more expensive. So don't forget to just put down some comments, give us some likes. Always subscribe. Stay tuned for the next 2 videos. And everybody on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching. We hope to keep bringing you this content. See you guys soon.